everybody, it's Charisma of Charisma's Corner in the Little Pink Barn. I am so excited again to be here with you today, and today we're going to work on the quilt called Wish. You guys may have seen this. I've done this quilt so many times. We've done it in Tula, I've done it in the solids. I love the solids because it sort of looks like a vintage, I don't know. I just really love this solid one. I've done it in Christmas. I love the Christmas one, and I've seen it made in all sorts of ways. And the reason I called it Wish is because it's wish upon a star, kind of a funny little meaning to that, because it's like a star within a star block. And I love a good traditional star block. It's a fun thing. And again, this is fat quarter friendly. It uses 30 fat quarters, your binding, and the white for those star points on the inner star. And I am always looking for those fat quarter patterns that will use a lot of fabrics, because some of those bundles contain anywhere from 30 to 40 fabrics, and you want to try to use all of them in that bundle, because we bought those bundles because we really love that line. And this is perfect for that. So you can also use just straight fat quarters if you have those. So you can just pull random things from your stash as well. I did not have any color palette that I used with this. I used muted, beige, brown, brights, more neon, pales, pastels, anything when I was putting this together, because it was 30 fat quarters. So I just grabbed whatever I had a fat quarter, and I just love the result of how it is vibrant and muted, and there's grays and browns and reds and everything in it. So let's get started. It goes pretty quickly because we use a technique called, I think sometimes it's called the Magic Flying Geese, or maybe the No Waste Flying Geese method. And I use this a lot in my quilts because there's no waste. So it's a great way to make the most of your fabric. And you'll see me demonstrate this technique plenty of times because I do use it in so many of my different patterns. So let's get started. So the sizes are all in the pattern. There will be a link down below to that pattern. And we have our big square here, and we have our little squares. And what we're going to do is we've marked the diagonal on all of our little squares, and we're going to go ahead and line those up diagonally. And you're going to see that they overlap, and you absolutely want that. You want the lines to line up, and they should overlap in the center. So then after you do that, you want to sew on both sides of that line that we marked, just like you would a traditional half square triangle. So we're going to go ahead and bring this over to the machine and do that. Okay, and now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and then cut on the line that we marked. And now we're going to press these open so we kind of create this little heart. It kind of looks like a heart. Okay, and so now we've pressed both of those open. We're going to take our other two squares and we're going to go ahead and line those up in the corner. And again, we want that line to go through, and it does overhang a little bit. And that's exactly what we want. And then again, we're just going to sew on both sides of this marked line. now we're going to go ahead and again cut on that marked line. And then when we open those up, we have 4 flying geese. Doesn't that look great? We're gonna go ahead and press those. One more. Okay, and I'm just gonna cut off all those little dog ears. Okay, and that's one set, and we actually have to do 2 sets for this star, and so we're going to go ahead. I have my blue here. It's actually I used an ombre for this, but so we're going to do this on a smaller scale, and I have 2 whites. This is going to create those little white star points, and we'll just go ahead. We've lined those up, they're overlapping, and we're going to sew on both sides of that line. And again, we're just going to go ahead and cut on that straight line that we marked, and we're going to press those open to create our 2 little hearts. I get emails pretty frequently about this technique. People who have never seen it before kind of get a little hesitant, and they don't understand that we're going to get 4 flying geese out of this. So sometimes it is like magic once they understand how this works out. So now again, we're just going to sew on both sides of that marked line. Okay, and here we have our little ones. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing, cut on that line. And look at that magic. We have all of those pretty flying geese. And pretty much the difficult part of all of our sewing is done at this point. Now we're just putting together the block. So I know it looks a little daunting when you first look at it, that you're going to be making all of these stars with all of those points, but that went together pretty quickly using that method, and we're not dealing with any bias. We're just simply sewing squares, and it works out so well. And it goes together so fast, and there are diagrams in the pattern that show you how many cuts you need and what cuts you need to make in each fat quarter to get the right amount of squares and cuts that you need for each block, because you really just cut them and then you kind of mix them up. You make 30 piles and just sort of mix the colors up, and that's what we have going on. And white is my constant. I tend to like to have a constant somewhere just because my eye tends to like that. I just grabbed scraps of fabric that I've been working on with other things. So I had this ombre fabric that I thought was really pretty. Add a little something to this. So this is how the block goes together. So I'll just go ahead and start with the small pieces and put my small star together and then work from there. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and press those. I press those out, so I'm going to just go ahead and press this one in. That way we can nestle those seams, and then we have our little star. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and press this. Off my threads. Okay, so we have this. Go ahead and start sewing these. Okay, now we can press this and then we can sew our block together. Okay, and then we can sew these together. You can pin it if you feel more comfortable doing that. And look at that, we have our little wish block. Go ahead and press that. Get all of my threads off. Okay, and look at that. Even though I had gotten off a little bit, it worked out well when I sewed my geese. And so 30 of these and you have a little wish quilt. And of course, if you wanted to make more blocks to make it bigger, I think that would just be better. So I hope that you will share your projects with me at #charismascorner.com and make a wish upon a star. I hope that you'll join me in the little pink barn for the next time, and have a great day. Bye.